Hello and welcome, everybody. Delighted to have you here. Several of you submitted questions ahead of time, so I think we're going to do a pretty good job of building in answers. A couple of them, there's probably some places where you're going to want additional detail. So here's my request. There is a chat box available to you. If you can just type in any additional questions in the chat box, I'm happy to answer those. Of course, there's a question panel too. You can use that. This is about you getting the information you want. So let's make sure we get there. The other thing I'll share with you is we do appreciate you investing your time in exploring coaching certification and credentialing. So I have something for you at the end of the conversation. Let's make sure we get you the answers you want all the way through this. So to get started, the agenda of what's planned for the conversation is talking about coaching and the journey to becoming a coach. So we'll share the definition of coaching and the process, what it takes. From there, we'll share some statistics and insights about coaching. We're going to walk you through the Staircase to Success coaching model. It's a fabulous analogy for understanding how you actually build a coaching relationship. And then we'll also talk through just a very basic process. Please note, coaching processes are different. We definitely tailor and cater to individual clients. We'll talk pros and cons of certification, because as much as I want to say it's all pros, I get it. Yes, there are cons. We'll be real. We'll talk about that. We will talk about the reasons people choose certification at the Center for Coaching Certification, what to look for in a training wherever you go, because yes, we want you to join us in our community, and we get it. You're probably exploring other options. So what to look for anywhere you go. We'll talk about the opportunities in terms of being a coach. We'll talk about the programs that we offer. And of course, we'll give you what we include too. So diving in, first off, the definition. And this definition is fabulous because of the word choice. Check it out. It says coaching is partnering. Now, that word is significant. It's very different when you think about a professional service provider, such as an attorney, a financial planner, a therapist, a counselor, people in any different field. When you go hire a professional, you see them as the expert, and they are the ones who are leading the process. Coaching is very different because a coach is there as a partner. A coach sees the client as their own best expert, and they are there providing the process. It goes on to say, it describes it, a thought-provoking and creative process, which is fun. It's absolutely engaging. It's exciting. It says that inspires them to recognize and maximize their personal and professional potential. Recognize is a word that was added most recently to this definition. And it really indicates to us, yeah, there are many who simply don't realize what they have, their abilities, their talents. They tend to sell themselves short. So truly recognizing, and then, of course, maximizing. It's a fabulous process. It's a privilege being a coach and serving clients. Okay, so this definition comes from the International Coaching Federation. And a lot of people have questions. Okay, who are they? What are they? How does it work? What are the requirements, etc.? So we're going to dig into that. I think this will answer some of those key questions that came up. First off, the International Coaching Federation is a nonprofit organization made up of coaching professionals. They're considered the gold standard in the coaching profession, insofar as this is where our code of ethics comes from. And that code of ethics gets reviewed and updated on every 3 to 4 years. So there's a very intense process for doing that. So it's good to know that's kept current with all the changes happening in the world. Members of the International Coaching Federation are accountable to that code of ethics. That's significant to us. It is also the gold standard for number one, accrediting training programs. So there's a lot of different coach training out there. There are a lot of options. The good news is the International Coaching Federation has accredited hundreds of programs. So you do have options that are accredited. You definitely want to look for that International Coaching Federation accreditation. They also have standards for membership. They require 60 hours of coach training. Now, one of the questions that came up, and I do get this frequently, is people say, okay, I have this other education experience, et cetera. And they say, does that count toward these hours? The International Coaching Federation says no. And here's the reason. Coaching is different. You probably have a lot of transferable skills. They do want you to have the coach specific training hours, both for membership and for a credential. And they do have standards for credentialing. That's the other big area of question. So the best way I can explain that is this infographic. And this is on the website as well. So if you ever want to go back and review it and check it out, all of that information is there. Very specifically, at the International Coaching Federation, they have 4 different levels, essentially. So the first one is membership. And to become a member, they require you to have 60 hours of coach training. The next level is when you start moving into the credentialing. And you can see there are 3 different credentialing levels. So for the ACC credential, it's the same 60 hours of training that's required for membership. In addition to those 60 hours, they require you to log 100 hours of experience coaching clients. In terms of your training program, you want to make sure it's one that will also include the required 10 hours of mentor coaching. And during that mentor coaching, you have to get assessed on you coaching a client. And there are very specific standards for passing that assessment. When you complete your training and mentor coaching and you have your log of 100 coaching hours, you can apply to ICF for the credential and they will invite you to take the exam. Once you pass that, that's how you earn that credential. Now, here's the good news. The mentor coaching that we do does include exam prep. So we're going to get you ready for that, prepared for that. For the PCC credential, the next level, it's 125 hours of training. So the 60 hours are a part of that. You're talking additional training hours. The hours of experience is 500. So your 100 hours is part of that. And then you're adding additional hours. The mentor coaching is again there. At the PCC level, there's 2 recordings. So you have to be assessed on 2 different coaching sessions. When you complete those components, you can apply. And then there's an exam for the PCC level credential as well. Pass that, and that's how you earn it. The analogy to help you recognize the difference, okay, which level, what's important, what matters. Here's the way to look at it. ICF membership is much like saying, okay, I went to high school. An ACC credential is much like saying, okay, I got my degree. And then a PCC credential is much like saying, okay, I got my master's degree. An important note for you is that to pursue the MCC credential, you must earn the PCC credential first and have it for 3 years before you're even eligible to consider the MCC credential. For that reason, we're going to focus on these initial levels today in this conversation. The illustration that you see here, I'm going to add to it. So, I got ahead of myself there. Very specifically, we have programs that you can take to get you to the membership level. We also have what's called the level 1. So when you are going to apply for a credential with the International Coaching Federation, a level 1 accredited program is what they're looking for to get you the ACC credential. To earn the PCC credential, they want you to have the level 2. Again, it's an accredited program. What ICF does with that is they say, okay, for us to give you the level 1 accreditation, They want to make sure it has the training hours. They want to make sure it has the mentor coaching hours, and that you have that recording assessment included. Now, some programs provide the recording assessment. Some require you to get it somewhere else as part of their program. So we do provide all of that. That's all included in the level 1. For the level 2, they want the 125 hours of training. They want the mentor coaching there. And then they want you assessing on 2 recordings. Now, in order to do the mentor coaching and the assessing, ICF has requirements for that too. Here's what I'll share with you. A level 1 accredited program means, yes, they can provide that for you or have you do some of it outsourced. And a level 2, again, in the Center for Coaching certification, these programs include all the training hours, all the mentor coaching, and all of the assessing. So it's an all-encompassing approach to support you getting to that credential. I think that covered the basics that people were asking. And please, if you have additional questions on that, just put it in the chat box so I can respond to you live and get that information. Now, this infographic is going to map out the journey for you. Very specifically at the Center for Coaching certification, a level 1 program designed to get you to that ACC credential is going to start with the Certified Professional Coach program. It's the initial 30 hours. What's valuable there is when you complete that initial 30-hour program, you're going to have a certificate that says you're a certified professional coach. And as long as you're registered in that cohort to go start to finish to ACC, you could actually join ICF. Their membership requirement is the hours of training. And it's okay if you're enrolled in those hours, which means complete the first 30 hours, get that certification, join ICF as a member, and you can say, I am a certified professional coach and I'm a member of ICF. And that helps you when you start putting yourself out there and looking for those coaching hours, the experience that is required for that credential process. Simultaneously, you do continue on to the Certified Master Coach program, which is the next 35 hours. And then from there, you'll move into the mentor coaching. During the mentor coaching, you'll be submitting a recording of yourself coaching that gets assessed. You have to pass at the ACC level. We do give you up to 3 opportunities for that. You'll find that most people are there much quicker than that, definitely supporting you that in the program. When all of these things are complete, you apply to ICF for the credential. They verify everything and invite you to take the exam. So that's your ACC journey, using the Center for Coaching certification for your training hours, your mentor coaching, and your assessing. For the PCC credential, in addition to the Certified Professional Coach and Certified Master Coach, you have the Certified Advanced Coach program and the Coaching Experience class. Those are the additional training hours required for the PCC level. When we do the mentor coaching at this level, we are, of course, supporting you on the 2 recordings for earning the PCC credential. Everything's there and included. Hopefully this illustrates what that path looks like. So people say, okay, which one do I sign up for? Here's a thought for you. The pro of doing the level 1 first is that it's less money, it's less time, and you can earn a credential. Typically, it takes people 6 to 12 months between training and logging their coaching hours. To do the PCC level credential, it typically takes 12 months to 2 years. And the advantage of that is if you're going to coach executives. So a lot of people say, well, which one should I do? It can be very valuable to start with the ACC credential, get that credential under your belt, have it, get yourself out there, start coaching, etc. And if you want to continue on to the PCC credential, you have that option. You just add the additional training hours. So we can support that approach as well. For someone who knows you're going to coach executives, you're going to be in the corporate space, that kind of thing, the PCC credential is in demand there. If you decide to do the level 2 program, please know that yes, You can do the level 2 program. You can get your ACC credential. And then when you have enough coaching hours logged, go ahead and get your PCC credential. So you still have the option either way. Now let's break this out and look at it in a different way. If we take ICF credentials and we say, okay, the certified professional coach, first 30 hours, that's not going to get you there. That's halfway to ICF membership. It's the certified professional coach and the certified master coach are the training hours required for membership. Can you take just the certified professional coach program? Yes, you can if you want to. Here's where we see it happen most often. Number one, if you are a leader in the workplace, coaching is considered a skill you're expected to have. If you're in HR or talent development, oftentimes people in project management as well, certain fields where they want you to have coaching skills. That certified professional coach program is fabulous. It gives you a rock solid foundation in terms of the competencies, the ethics, et cetera, around coaching, gives you a process that you can put to use immediately. So yes, that's a great foundation. Now, if you say, okay, and I want to continue, here's what some people do. We offer an a la carte process where you can take the initial 30 hours, then you can come back and take the next 35, come back and do the mentor coaching and combine that to get the level 1. Come back and take the next 2 classes, you can get the level 2. So you can do it in a package or you can do it a la carte. We give you both options. For the ACC credential, it's the 3 programs, the certified professional coach, the certified master coach, and the mentor coaching. And then at the PCC credential level, we add the additional 2 programs, the advanced coach and the coaching experience class. Again, on the MCC, got to get that PCC first. All right, so let's put this in and just really break it down in terms of cost, time, etc. So here's what I'll share with you. If you take just the certified professional coach program, what you want to do is look across on the row and you can see it's part of the level 1, it's part of the level 2. So it's partial hours from one of those programs. It's a total of 30 hours and by itself, it's $19.95. Alternatively, if you say, I know I want to get at least the ACC credential, I'm going to do the level 1. Well, when you bundle the 3 programs for the level 1 credential, it does give you a cost savings over doing them individually. If you know you want to get the PCC credential, again, you can bundle this package right here, and it will give you a cost savings over doing programs individually. If you decide to do them one at a time, some people say, you know what, here's what my budget, my time allow. I can do 1 program a year. You have that option. You can do the professional coach program. You can come back and then take the master coach program and then come back and do the mentor coaching so that you can manage your time and your budget in terms of what you're doing. What we're looking at is saying, okay, how can we give you options? How can we give you flexibility to manage your time, manage your budget, and get you there in terms of learning coaching, doing coaching, and earning a credential? So those options ideally are doing that. I think I've covered kind of the core pieces that I saw in questions. Okay, so it looks like we're good. I'm going to keep going. And again, if you just wanted more time on typing your question, feel free. I'm still watching that chat box. Let's have a couple of insights about coaching. First off, it is, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers, the 2nd fastest growing sector in the world. First is, of course, IT, technology, all of that. It's pretty exciting that we're there in terms of being the 2nd fastest growing sector. Forbes magazine put this quote out, and I think it's a great quote. They said, do you have a coach? If not, you could be limiting your career success. Wow, that's a pretty bold statement. What's great about it is it's actually backed up by the research. So one of the studies that was done was at Amoco. British Petroleum has since bought them out. They did an evaluation of coaching over a 10-year period of time. Love the longevity of that study. It was a long-term study. Here's what they found. Compared to other Amico managers, the ones who had a coach had improved performance, increased ratings of potential for advancement, and check this out, 50% higher average salary increases. That's phenomenal. 50% higher. And think about what happens, because you get a salary increase one year. And if they're looking at percentages and that kind of thing, that means your increase next year is going to be higher too. So it's got a compounding impact. That's an incredible benefit. The people that had the coach in this study said, hey, my results are because of the coaching. And they literally named it. Denison Consulting cites coaching as the organizational development tool of choice for leaders and emerging leaders. We certainly see that. So in addition to training people to do coaching, we actually contract with organizations to provide coaches, placing our graduates in those opportunities. And we see that a lot. Organizations are engaging coaches for their leaders and their emerging leaders. When companies look at hiring a coach, what's motivating them? Harvard Business Review did a study, and here's what they said. 48% of the time, companies will hire a coach to develop their high potentials or facilitate transitions. 26% of the time, it's to act as a sounding board. Now, the sounding board aspect of it, I will say, we see that most often in the C-suite, your highest level executives, and it makes sense. They know how to figure out action steps, that kind of thing. So what coaching does for them is give them a space and a process to think out loud, consider different perspectives. It elevates their decision-making in a big way. So it's got a powerful impact on them. Now, 12% of the time, it's to address a derailing behavior. Here's what's kind of interesting. It used to be people thought, oh, if you had a coach, that was because something was wrong. And the reality is, no, it's a huge investment to provide you with a coach. If they're bringing a coach in for you, it's because they want you to be successful. Absolutely. And 12% of the time, they're looking at it and they say, hey, we have somebody that's really good at this job. We want to keep them. We want them to be successful. We've got to address some things. And having a coach there supports addressing that, helps that person be successful in their role. Now, something fascinating came out of this study. 76% of the time, personal issues get addressed. And sometimes people say, well, wait a minute, this is coaching in the workplace. It's supposed to be about the job. Let's be realistic. Whatever people have going on in their life outside of work, relationships, family, financial, health-wise, etc., it impacts them on the job. So when they have a safe place, they can address whatever it is. It means when they are at work, they can be focused and effective at work. So yes, absolutely, personal issues get addressed. Now, with individuals, if somebody is involved in coaching, what motivates them? Now, sometimes you have people where it's through the company. That's great. And you have a lot of people that engage a coach on a personal level, whether they're looking for a life coach, career coach, etc. So they're doing that coaching for themselves. Their reason for working with a coach in either case, top reasons, establishing and achieving goals. That seems self-evident and kind of obvious. That's what coaching does. Let's go deeper. They want to increase their own self-awareness, build their confidence, improve their communication skills, enhance emotional intelligence, create a healthy work-life schedule, advance their career, develop themselves as a future leader, develop their problem-solving skills and decision-making, and or increase resilience and adaptability. These are motivators for individuals engaging a coach. Now, Fortune magazine said, okay, business coaching is attracting, and I know this is very US centric. We have people from all over the world. It's attracting top CEOs because it works. the average return on the cost of coaching is 600%. That's phenomenal. There is very little you can do out there to have that kind of a return on investment. Very exciting. All right. Some of the research that they probably looked at when they were doing that, one of the more commonly cited studies is Metrics Global. And they looked at it and they said coaching gave a 529% return on investment. And when you added the financial benefits from employee retention, that return on investment jumps to 788%. That's phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. Employee retention becomes a real big question in today's world. We went through the pandemic. Now there's all kinds of other turmoil. Keeping top talent in an organization is essential for the success of that organization. This definitely makes a difference in companies. It's the reason, one of the reasons coaching continues to be a fast-growing profession. Now, another look, total different angle, looking at productivity. So when you engage someone, training program, you have internal training, etc., productivity goes up 22.4%. That's fabulous. Then when you add coaching to it, that improvement in productivity jumps to 88%, 4 times the impact nearly. That's phenomenal. This was a study done by Public Personnel Management. I think it fits very much with a study that Xerox did. They said, okay, if you do training and you don't do follow-up coaching, 87% of the skills change you gained ends up being lost. What does that tell us? It tells us it's not such a smart investment to provide training if you don't provide coaching because of the impact and the win by including coaching with that. So that's an important insight. Now, when somebody is choosing, who do they want as a coach? Their top 2 reasons for the person they pick as their coach are experience in a similar setting and a clear methodology. When they say experience in a similar setting, that's what you already have. You're not going to get that from a coach training program. It's experience that you come with. It doesn't have to be the same setting. They said similar setting. In other words, that individual wants to know that you understand them and their world. So they're looking for experience in a similar setting. They also want a coach that has a clear methodology. That is what you gain from the training program. Now, this study, again, Harvard Business Review, and it leads us to really understanding the approach to building a coaching relationship. So the staircase to success gives you a sense of building that coaching relationship, knowing what your approach is, what your process is. And then we're going to actually go into a diagram of the coaching engagement itself. So this is about building the relationship. In comparing building a coaching relationship to building a staircase, well, the first thing when you're building a staircase is you're going to put your framework in place. Makes sense. Got to have a place to put the steps. Well, when we're talking about coaching and you're going to develop yourself as a coach, you start with your framework. And your framework is just like any other profession. You do your training, whatever education, learning, etc., for developing yourself in that profession. And along with that training, you're going to develop your competency as a professional in the field. And of course, the ethics for the profession. Typically what happens is people come to it and they say, well, I am ethical. I believe in ethics. It's a big part of my life. And that's fabulous. What's important to note is every profession has nuances to the ethics based on what the profession is. So really getting coaching ethics is important. Once you have the framework in place, you're ready to start adding stairs. Excuse me, thanks. The first step that you're going to do in coaching is an agreement. And the agreement happens in phases. Initially, it's a conversation about what coaching is and isn't. We move into a formal agreement for a coaching engagement. And then every single coaching session, you're coming to an agreement in terms of what the client wants to accomplish during that session and what they want to talk about to accomplish that. Once you have the agreement in place, you're prepared for the next step of understanding. It is incumbent on the coach to understand their client. Who are they? How do they think? How do they process? How do they function? What's their context? What's their culture? Because there are many nuances to how they perceive things, how they want to do things based on who they are. Understanding who they are and what they want from the coaching are key. This in turn supports the step of rapport. The number one indicator of success in a coaching engagement is the rapport between the coach and the client. The reason for that is when you have that rapport, the client trusts their coach. They know this coach is going to honor my confidences. I can be open and vulnerable with them. And it truly sets up the success of the engagement. The step that is built on that rapport is the communication. Communication is on many levels, includes many things. So, of course, listening. Coaches listen deeply to understand. It goes much further than standard listening that we're used to every day. Really getting what the client's intended meaning is. Then, of course, we also talk about language and word choice. How a coach says something truly makes a difference, the language that's used, and the questions that are asked. Coaching questions are completely different than other types of questions. Learning how to formulate powerful coaching questions is an absolute game changer. It's a total win for you and everybody you're talking with. Of course, it makes a difference in the coaching sessions. Those questions set up the step of exploration. The client is exploring, what do they want? What are their opportunities or possibilities? What are their resources? What are their potential barriers? And then as they move through this exploration, they start developing their strategy. How are they going to move forward toward what they want? What's their plan? And ultimately, you're there as coach partnering with them to move to that doorway called success. And that success is defined by the client. So this gives you a sense of building the coaching relationship. Let's look at what the actual process is. Very common best practice in the world of coaching is to have an introductory session. This is before you engage in the formal engagement. Basically, a lot of coaches offer that free introductory session for a couple of reasons. Number one, it gives that client a chance to get to know you as a coach, get a sense of who you are, how you think, process, and function, get a sense of what it's like to have you as a coach. As a coach, it's very, very important to give you a sense of who the client is. What do they want? What's important to them? Because ultimately, you've got to decide, hey, is this going to be a good match? Is it going to be a good fit, this coach and this client? Because it is incumbent on us as coaches to ensure we're providing value to the client. We've got to make sure we're a good fit for them. From the introductory session, when you decide, okay, yes, this is a good fit, we're going to move forward, then you have an intake process. It can vary. Everywhere you go, people have different ideas of what that intake or onboarding is in terms of the coaching. Very, very excited about the process we give you in the program. So we do an opening session. It's a big picture exploration of what the client wants in all different areas. It's important because, number one, all of those things are interconnected. Sometimes they have competing priorities or conflicting priorities. It's important to know what the client cares about in all of those different areas and how it all works together. From there, there's an incredible process that sets the client up on staying truly focused on what it is they want and engaged in doing the work. It's motivational and it builds their confidence. Then on an ongoing basis, pretty standard in coaching, the client is prioritizing what they want to work on, what they want to accomplish. They're developing the strategies and the action plan. The coach is there as their partner, providing that process for doing it. And of course, taking time to notice progress and successes along the way, because that in turn serves the continued work and building on it. The average coaching relationship, according to ICF, is going to be 12 months. Sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's longer. That's the average. Whatever the reason, hey, this is how many sessions I could afford or my company gave me, or hey, I'm complete. I accomplished what I wanted out of the coaching, whatever it is. When you get to the place of moving toward closing that engagement, as coach, you want to make sure you're helping your clients set themselves up for the long term. How will they maintain their progress and continue to build on it after coaching? And we do a closing session. And while we call it a closing session, you do want to let the client know the door is open, because they often come back, sometimes months later, sometimes years later. And at that closing session, it's an opportunity to reflect back on what they have accomplished, what they have learned, and how that serves them moving forward. So that very general sense, please note the coaching process is adjusted to the client. There are many different elements to what happens in coaching. This is to give you just an initial big picture overview of that. Okay. Now we're going to dig into certification. This is what you're here exploring, checking out. What are the pros? What are the cons? So first off, the overwhelming majority of coaches, 80%, agree that clients expect coaches to be certified and credentialed. What's interesting about this is increasingly this is happening. It used to be, anybody can call themselves a coach, and clients didn't typically know that somebody could say, hey, yes, I'm a coach, without having any kind of background or training in it. So increasingly, it's become this buyer beware, if you will. And now clients know more and more to ask, hey, what kind of training do you have? What kind of experience do you have? What kind of credential do you have in terms of being a coach? Additionally, it is important to note that having that certification, that credential, where you have it from really makes a difference. So in 2022, 85% of coaches said they held a certification or a credential. That was up from 69% 7 years before, from 74% just 3 years before. So you can see the trend is continuing to climb in terms of people having a credential. It is important to stand out in the marketplace. In terms of the certification, okay, 85% of coaches have it. 99% of their clients are satisfied with their coaching experience. That's huge. That's an incredible satisfaction rating. Really boiling it down, probably more personal here, on the con side, be nice to say, yeah, coaching's great for everyone. Realistically, it takes time and it takes money. And when we reflect for a minute, if it weren't for the time and the money involved, everybody would do coach training, because it's such a win. You gain so much that helps you in so many different ways. I've often said to people, I'm a better mom, I'm a better grandmother, I'm a better family member and friend and colleague because of learning coaching. The time and the money are what get in the way for people. The skill set is valuable, whatever you do, it's the time and the money. On the pro side, when you invest in yourself with the time and the money, it's tremendous in terms of career advancement. If you're in any kind of a role that involves leadership, or you want to be in a leadership role, coaching skills are an essential competency for you as a leader. There are a lot of other professions where it makes a difference too. You see a lot of HR roles, talent development, project management, and other professional service providers where it makes a difference in the quality of what they're doing. That in turn supports them advancing in their career. Additionally, of course, if you're doing this as a business, whether you're going to have a life coaching business, a business coaching, an executive coaching, whatever it is, it supports your business development. Very specifically in terms of what your options are, there are 940 level 1 coach training programs that are accredited by the International Coaching Federation. That's for earning the ACC credential. There are 684 accredited at the level 2. The level 3, by the way, is for those who are doing the MCC credential. And because we're focusing on that initial, and we know that requirement, we're focusing on those first 2 levels. By the way, in addition to coach training, there are continuing education programs. Those come after you complete your coach training. And for people who do earn a credential in the future, there is an advanced accreditation for team coaching as well. So these numbers were as of August of this year. The reason people choose the Center for Coaching certification for their training, here's what they tell us. Number one, they're looking at credibility. I think that's a hard one to know. You look at a website, how do you know if they're credible or not? So I'm going to give you a couple of things you can look for. Number two, they look for coaching tools. At the Center for Coaching certification, you will get so much while you're in the program, so many different things. And when you graduate, we give you more. And that's important to know. The ongoing support. For example, every month we have a free Q&A call. We do have an online discussion group of graduates. There's a lot we're doing to support you in your success even after you complete your training. It's a huge professional development opportunity, and I'll point out how that happens. Specifically, the credit hours from our programs are accepted by other organizations to maintain other designations. It also helps you make the case if you're asking your company to support you in the coach training program, because it is a continuing ed program. It's a personal development opportunity. Learning, coaching develops you, takes you just so much higher in terms of who you are and how you are. And another valuable tool we provide, one of the things that a lot of coaches find their clients want are different assessment tools. Well, when you graduate, we're going to give you a dashboard from which you can give those assessments at wholesale. So it's an incredible additional benefit. All right, wherever you go, and yes, of course, we want you to come to the Center for Coaching certification. Wherever you do go, how do you decide? How do you know what to look for? So the first thing I'm going to say is make sure, front, center, prominent on the website, you want to make sure an organization has their level 1 and their level 2 accreditation from the International Coaching Federation. That means they are qualified to support you earning that ACC credential or that PCC credential, that they can issue the level 1 certificate or the level 2 certificate. That's part of your credentialing journey then. Now, an additional thing, and this is something where we stand out, the International Association or International Accreditors for Continuing Education and Training. It's a global organization. They use ANSI standards. It means that the credit hours we issue are accepted at many colleges and universities, and they're accepted by SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, HRCI, ATD. We've had attorneys, financial planners, nurses, mental health professionals use the credit hours from our program to renew their professional designation. And it's because we are accredited by ICF as well. That tells you something. So the ICF accreditation, by the way, will focus on, are they teaching the competencies and the ethics, etc. The ICF accreditation goes even further. It's looking at the organization. It's looking at how programs are designed, developed, delivered, measured, improved, etc. So it's a lot to know. Hey, those accreditations tell you about the caliber of the training you're going to go into. Look for those. AICI is the Association of Image Consultants International. Now, participants in our programs include ATD, the Association for Talent Development, SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, HRCI, Human Resource Certification Institute, the Financial Planners Association, National Small Business Administration, AICI, the International Coaching Federation, IACET members, mental health professionals, consultants, project managers, and people that truly have a passion for empowering others, helping others maximize their own potential. What's great about who participates in these programs is it adds to the richness of the conversation. At the Center for Coaching Certification, we have several thousand graduates from 44 different countries. So the conversations during class are very rich. We have high-level professionals, and it truly is a value add. Every single one of you that joins the class adds value to that class and to that conversation. Okay, the competencies. You want to make sure your program is designed to help you develop these competencies. This is from the International Coaching Federation. They're organized in categories. So the category of foundation includes the competencies that demonstrates ethical practice and embodies a coaching mindset. Co-creating the relationship category includes establishes and maintains agreements, cultivates trust and safety, and maintains presence. The communicating effectively category includes listens actively and evokes awareness. And the cultivating learning and growth category facilitates client growth. At the Center for Coaching Certification, the programs are developed very intentionally to support you developing all of these competencies at an advanced level as a coach. Who's going to benefit from certification? Leaders, trainers, educators, consultants, managers, human resource professionals, project managers, service providers, business owners. Oh, got ahead of myself there. It has a profound impact in everything you do when you learn coaching. In terms of your career opportunities, a couple of quotes that'll give you some perspective on it. 86% of employees think their boss is uninspiring. When a boss learns coaching skills, that totally changes. Harvard Business Review goes on to say that coaching, it's integral to a fabric of a learning culture. Of course, that makes sense. And it's a skill that good managers at all levels need to develop and deploy. So that's powerful. In terms of your skill development opportunity with coach training, one of the huge skill areas is communication, taking your listening to a new level, your clear, direct, respectful language, assertiveness, and asking coaching questions. Your people skills, recognizing different personal styles and knowing how to flex to people based on who they are, and your goal setting. It's really interesting to me how much of a difference the way a goal is defined and planned makes when it comes to being successful in achieving that goal. So having a process that really works and motivates follow through for setting those goals. In terms of business opportunities, if we really boil it down, the hourly cost for having a coach is $100 to $3,500 a session. The median rate is $500. The average rate is $244 per session. So that starts to give you an idea of where you're at with the income. It is projected that by 2027, $125.1 billion US dollars will be spent each year. According to the ICF, as of September of this year, they had 59,102 member coaches around the world. And of those, 29,155 had the ACC level credential, 26,390 at the PCC level. And look at the difference here. Only 2,655 of us at the MCC level. There are 902 with the certification in team coaching, that credential. So in terms of a business, if you're in business as a consultant or in other related fields, coaching becomes an add-on service. If you want to start a business, whether part-time or full-time, of course it makes sense in terms of opportunity. Now, the programs themselves, let's take a peek at each of those. The Certified Professional Program starts with a series of classes. The first one is called About Coaching, talking about what it is and isn't, clearing up some of those common misunderstandings, and then diving into the competencies. From there, you move into ethics. I'm a bit of an ethics nerd myself. I absolutely love ethics. What's fun about this class is really getting some of the nuances, talking about what to do, what not to do, and some of your what if scenarios, as well as really getting a good understanding on the code of ethics. Understanding your client is so much fun. As a matter of fact, when you come to that class, bring your sense of humor. We're going to talk about people, and people are very interesting. There's a lot of humor involved. We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses. It's recognizing who somebody is in the moment and how to adjust to that. And so it's a powerful class when you think about developing interpersonal relationships, connections, etc. And it's essential as a coach to truly supporting your client. The communication class is going to give you fabulous techniques and insights in terms of really listening to the language and the impact of your word choice. And then, of course, how to ask those coaching questions. In the class on focus and motivation, we're going to add additional depth to the above couple of classes there in terms of working with people based on how they learn and process information, how they say what they say, their word choice has indications and impact for them, and how they're thinking, and how that thinking pattern plays into where they go in terms of accomplishing things. So a lot of powerful insight there. With each of these classes, there's a homework assignment. The first couple of classes, you're doing additional reading or research, reading the competencies, reading the code of ethics, etc. In the next three classes, you're literally practicing the techniques that you learned in class in your daily conversations, and then writing about what happens, what the impact was. Then there's a group session, totally wide open, a lot of flexibility. Everybody in the class comes with whatever questions you have. So yeah, we have some basic information ready for you, and that group session can go where you want it to go. The coaching practicum is an incredible experience. During that practicum, you will be paired with other people that are in the class with you. You'll have someone that you coach, someone that's assigned to coach you, and somebody that you observe coaching. So during the program, you're getting that real-time practice. You've got the trainer right there supporting you. At the end of the program, there's a case study. We're going to walk you through start to finish in terms of that. It's really a great review of everything you get out of the class. Once you complete that program, definitely take advantage of those Q&A calls every month. And we're going to give you a coach login page with a ton of resources. Amongst them are recordings on business of coaching and marketing yourself as a coach for those of you who are doing this as a business. Plus, there's recorded coaching sessions there. Continuing education opportunities are available to you at the Center for Coaching Certification with the International Coaching Federation and more. There's many opportunities there. Now, the Certified Master Coach Program. It's great in terms of really solidifying your understanding, helping things click in place. So in this program, we start with a class on group and team coaching because that's now going to be part of the practicum. So that's the first class we're doing. Then we're taking a deeper dive into what to do and what not to do within each of the 4 areas of competency. So if you remember from the list of core competencies, talking about, okay, yes, you want to do this. Careful. don't do that, etc. Getting that perspective really helps. There is also a class on time and money. Those are influencing factors for clients, just as they are for us when we're deciding whether or not to do something. Time and money are factors. Most decisions involve time or money in some capacity. So it starts to give you this awareness of influencers, both for clients and for the people that they're dealing with. So it's a great insight there. And we do talk about additional influencers that come up. There is a final debrief that happens. That's actually after the coaching practicum. So with the classes in this class, you have half your homework before class and half after. For those of you that do training and development and learning, you're going to recognize the value of this. Before the class, you have a couple of questions, reflection questions, and then you're answering a couple of questions afterward. The coaching practicum itself, a whole different process, whole different approach, completely different. So first off, it does include the group coaching. And what that means is you will have an opportunity to coach or co-coach the people in the program with you. And you will be a participant when they in turn have that opportunity. You also will have the individual coaching. The approach is different. You will be interviewing colleagues in the program. You'll be involved in selecting who you want as a coach. And the process for the coaching sessions is going to be different as well. At the end of this program, there's a final report you'll write about coaching engagement and what you learned from it. Then the certified advanced coach for those continuing on to the PCC level. Think about it this way. The first couple of classes, you're getting all your core areas handled. And when you move into this class, it's much like declaring your major. This is really my focus area. And that's what's happening here. So in the classes, number one, you're looking at your competencies and the strengths. These things work together. They play together. What are your strengths as a coach? What are the strengths that matter based on the type of coaching you're doing? From there, engaging clients is different depending on the type of coaching you're doing. You can well imagine if I'm doing life coaching with an individual, that's very different than setting up an executive coaching engagement with the CEO. So recognizing some of the nuances that come to that depending on the type of coaching you're doing. The coaching relationship, again, there's going to be differences. The coaching process itself remains core. How it plays out really is different. Career coaching is different than leadership coaching, for example. So really recognizing what's happening in that relationship. Client priority management, of course, is tied to what type of client this is, what their focus is in the coaching, and setting them up for their future is, again, based on the type of coaching you're doing. We also have a class on challenges and trends for you as coach and what you're facing. And then there's a debrief session after the coaching practicum, which again is going to be different. In this program, there's reading assignments ahead of class. We provide all the reading materials to you, so that's all included. And then you'll have your homework assignments. The practicum itself is set up differently. So yes, you'll have the group coaching again. And yes, you'll have the individual coaching again. The difference is the format of the sessions is going to be completely different. That's intentional. There are different approaches to the coaching, and you want to experience as many as you can. So every time you do a practicum in these programs, the format is going to be different. There's final report with this class too. The coaching experience is totally focused on practice, practice, practice. So we do start with a review of the competencies and how they're evaluated to determine effectiveness as a coach, to determine whether or not you can have that ACC or PCC credential. We'll talk about group and team coaching and specifically dive into the competencies for team coaching. We have 6 group coaching sessions planned. You're going to have 5 individual sessions as coach, 5 as client, and 5 observing coaching, and then a debrief at the end. The mentor coaching, fabulous experience. So mentor coaching is very intentionally designed. There's a lot of specific parameters around it from the International Coaching Federation. And it's very, very specifically designed so that it supports you on that journey to earning a credential. And I've got a question. Okay, so somebody's asking me to email them. Yes, I will get an email out to you, informational. And if you have specifics that I need to adjust on the email, please just let me know. So that's got that. Oh, okay, another one here. Yes. Okay. So I think we're doing good based on what I'm seeing in the chat box and in the question panel. I'm going to keep going. In the mentor coaching, there are going to be 5 90-minute group sessions. You'll be discussing the competencies, how they're evaluated, what that means to you as a coach when you're working with a client. There are 3 individual sessions. That is an ICF requirement. We have a 360 of your coaching competencies. And of course, the primary focus of those individual sessions is going to be that process of you passing assessment of your coaching of a client. In terms of resources that are required or included, all of your class materials are included with the programs. When you graduate each of the classes, there's a login page on the website with additional tools and resources. The assessment dashboard is included in the program. We do work really hard on creating opportunities. So we've got a couple of possibilities for that in terms of you as a coach when you complete a program. So first off, we're helping you if you want to blog and get in front of a new audience. If you want to be a presenter of a program, we support that. If you want to get published, we put out a book series with chapters written by graduates of the program. We also host podcasts and LinkedIn Live sessions. And then we have an online searchable directory called Find a Certified Coach that only our graduates can list in. And we have our coaching provider, Coach 123, that is placing our graduates into coaching opportunities. So what's next for you? First off, first thing I'm going to give you, I mentioned at the beginning, hey, you're here investing your time, learning more. We're going to give back to you. So a free 30-minute session. Some people want to use it for coaching. Some people say, I want to talk more about the program, what's required, what I have to do. Absolutely. We can do it either way. It's your 30 minutes. So the way we're going to set that up is when I close out this program, I'm going to email everybody a link to the recording on YouTube. When I send you that email, just reply to the email, tell me you want that free 30-minute session, and I'll send you a link to my calendar. The application on the website, filling out the application is free. It doesn't take anything. You just fill it out. What's great about that is it gets you thinking on paper. Okay, here's what's required for me to go into this program. Here's my background. Here's the reason I'm interested in it. It helps you evaluate what you're going into, and it helps us get to know you and what you're bringing to the table. When you know, hey, I want this class, the way you hold your place in that class is submitting the registration payment. And then we get to welcome you to the community, and we very much enjoy that. There's a great group of people, a great group of trainers. The whole team is fabulous. So we hope you come visit us. We hope you join us at the Center for Coaching Certification, and we are available to you for additional questions, whatever else you want to know. Okay. All right. So somebody's asking me a question. Let me say this. I recognize we've used our time. So if you have to jump, of course, feel free. And for those of you who have additional questions, what I'm going to do is stop the share here, and I'm going to bring up the website. And the reason I'm bringing up the website is I've got questions on navigating to that. So I want to make sure I'm supporting all of that. So give me 2 seconds to have the website up. Here we go. Let me share that, and I can hopefully make it super easy. So first off, the infographic I shared at the end that showed the different levels, etc. The way to get there is on the website where it has this green button that says how to become a coach right over the picture. Click on that and it will take you to this page where it shows you the same infographic of the steps and what's required at each level, the journey with the Center for Coaching Certification, and that same exact table that gives you a la carte going across in rows and the cohorts going up and down vertically in the columns. So that information is all there. For those of you who want to find overviews of the programs or class schedules, put your cursor over where it says coach training. The level 1 and level 2, you can look at the overview of the program and you can look at the schedule options for each program. There is also on this dropdown an overview of each program based on doing them a la carte. If you put your cursor over additional coach education, you can find the schedules for the a la carte approach to a credential, as well as some other options that are available for continuing education programs. The application is available on this drop-down menu, as is the purchase page. On the resources tab, FAQs, if you want to learn more about the dashboard, you can go to this. If you want to see what it looks like after you log in, if you schedule that 30-minute call, I can show you because there's a ton there. You can access all the different monthly webinars. There's a listing here of what you can attend. We have recommended reading for you, more information on the Center for Coaching Certification, our mission, our vision, and information on the team. If you want to access testimonials, please do. Coaching podcast, there's vendor directory. And of course, you can contact us here. You can call, you can schedule a Zoom call. The login page is for graduates where we're providing additional resources. So do come visit us, poke around on the web page, check out all the information. There's lots here. We very much look forward to welcoming you aboard. So thank you so much for your time, for your interest. We're delighted to have you here. We look forward to that and very excited about welcoming you aboard. So thank you, everyone.